go. So you've been reading The Picture Palace, correct?
Yeah.
What I want you to do is just open up literally the front cover so that we can do a quick review of the essential question and the skills that we're working on today. Essential question is at the top. Go ahead and point to it. Move a sticky note if you need to. And let's read that together. Ready? Go. How do shared experiences help people adapt to change? Are there any questions about that essential question? Does it make sense what we're looking for this week? A shared experience is something that we're all going through together, right? And adapt means to change. So when we go through things together as a group, how do we change and how do we adapt to that change, right? You guys have any like experience where we all went through a big thing, a big event together? I'm thinking of one a couple of years ago where we had to wear masks. You guys think, remember when we went through COVID? Okay, but did we all go through that? We did it, so that's not a shared experience, that's your experience. But it's a good experience. Okay, that's a shared experience. I want you to think back though to COVID, right? The whole world kind of went through that together. Did people have to adapt to go through that? What kind of things did we have to do?
Wear masks.
Wear masks, leave school,
Be suffocated.
right? Yeah, very uncomfortable, right?
We could not
So people had to change their behaviors. Good job, and we adapted together. Do you think some people handled it better than others? Probably. Okay, so as we're reading this, I want you to be thinking about that. We can kind of have that connection, right? The text to self connection. These people in our story have a shared experience and they react differently. And that's what we're thinking about with our essential question, okay? If we look on the other page here, it's got our comprehension strategy, which is to make predictions. Prediction is an educated guess, and we're also going to compare and contrast. Can someone help me explain compare and contrast? Chris.
So basically, for example, like who is this guy and we compare this guy to this guy.
Good.
Here he has his own stuff. He has his own stuff and things they do together.
Right. Compare is how they're the same. Go on.
Same and different.
Same and different. That's what we're looking for. Okay? We're going to do some comparing and contrasting and making predictions. Are we good with that? Okay, here's what I want you to do first then. I want you to just picture walk through what you've read so far to remind yourself of what we read before. And then I want you to stop on chapter 4. Are you getting a little memory jog? Remembering what's happening? Okay. Claire wasn't here, so we need a nice tight summary of what happened in the last couple of chapters. Okay? I've heard a lot from Chris. I want everybody to have a chance. Is everyone prepared? Let's do actually a quick little partner talk. You two tell each other what the story's about. You two what the story's about. You three do a quick partner talk. What's the story about? Help Claire. And then I'm gonna bump in. Tell Claire.
Yes, I guess. No, they tried to do chores.
They said they were so when I pulled out
All right, come back to me. Even if you didn't get a chance to finish. Okay, I heard some things. I'm gonna eavesdrop a little bit. What do we call this time period? Go ahead. The Great Depression. And were people really wealthy or really poor?
really poor.
Really poor. Times were hard. Thus, this was bad. Okay, no one had any money. And I heard you talking about the two kids, and they were trying to do chores. Why?
To earn money.
Good, because they want to see a movie, right? A movie's kind of like a special thing that they haven't had money. So we're on chapter 4 right now. They just found out about bank night. Okay, during the Great Depression, the movie industry used to put on bank nights to raise people's spirits and and to bring people into the movie theaters because they were suffering too. So, the prize of this is a 5 note. What's a 5 note? $5 bill. Remember, we have a lot of idioms in this one and some figurative language that we have to figure out. As you're reading, there's a couple other tricky words that I want you to be aware of before we start. So go to page 11. You're on page 11. Yes? Okay, toward the middle of the page, you're going to find the word ornately. Point to the word ornately on page 11, middle of the page. Ornately. If something is ornate, it means that it is very fancy and detailed. Maybe it's got a beautiful carving. You might find an ornate piece of art. Okay, ornate means very fancy and detailed. Thumbs up. Okay. Also on this page is the word elaborate. Elaborate is just down 2 lines. Does anyone know what elaborate means? Okay, I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to use our sentence clues to try and figure that one out. Yep. And then the other one I want you to pay attention to is the word throng. Throng. Also on page 11. Okay, so those are the words I want you to listen for, and we're going to try and use our context clues to figure it out. Everybody's going to read page 11 with a whisper read. When you get to the end, I just want you to give me a thumbs up. Okay, go ahead and start at the top. Everyone's reading, everyone's lips are moving so I can know that you're reading. Go ahead and begin.
The boys arrived at the palace on a bank night, but there was already a long line.
Ornately. Elaborate. Awesome job. Okay. I asked you to find the word ornately. Did you find it?
Yes.
What was ornately painted? The ceiling. Nice job. Okay. And then it said, Frank had been to the palace before, but the gold statues and elaborate decorations still took his breath away. Do you agree? Disagree? What made you think fancy?
Because like the palace thing is like kind of fancy.
Yeah.
They said that it took his breath away.
Beautiful. Good job. If it takes someone's breath away, it's not plain Jane. If it has an ornately painted ceiling, we can assume that the rest is going to be pretty fancy as well. Elaborate means very fancy, yes. And then, did we see the word throng? Last sentence. The boys joined the throng of people entering the theater.
Was it the line?
Yeah, a big crowd, a big line. A throng is like a mass of people, right, going into one place. That's a great sentence. Yes, there's a throng of kids going into the assembly. All right, turn the page. You're doing great. Okay, as you read today, here's what we're going to start to think about. We're thinking about comparing and contrasting, okay? We have Frank and Joey in this story, right? Okay, look up at me. Nice job. Here's my graphic organizer. In the center is the event, okay? Today we're gonna think about the event of the bank. What do they call it? The money grab? Bank night, okay? Bank night. I want you to be thinking about what happens to Frank and how does he respond? What happens to Joey and how does he respond? And we'll compare and contrast those two things as we read Bank Night today. And we're gonna read a couple different ways today. I really like how you started off with your choral reading. So let's start with that first, and then I'm gonna set you free to read a little bit on your own. I want you to read this page, and then we'll stop again. Are you ready? Everyone's gonna read together today. Put your finger on the first word. Ready? Begin. Inside they surveyed the crowd and surround. They had thought the hardest part would be but the theater was already full. What's that word that starts with an O? Say it. Yeah, an organist. Someone who plays the, what do you think? Organ. Have you heard of an organ? Okay, an organ is like a really old-fashioned piano. So, yeah, they're playing the organ. Keep going. The organist played a fanfare. Spotlight lit the stage. Welcome to the night. She shouted, crowd cheered. You know the drill. If I'm calling your name, you have 60 seconds to claim your prize. I'll play 3 names. And if no one wins, no prize. Okay, has anything happened yet that I can add to this?
No.
We barely even heard about Frank and Joey yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's your job for the rest. I'm gonna have you read the rest of the story on your own. And then we're gonna talk about how to fill this out together, okay? Go ahead. Let's read them. I'll get these passed out. If you come to a word you don't know, what do you do? Good. Okay, skip it, come back to it. Can you sound it out? Use the word parts that you know. Stretch it. Good job. Good strategies. Is that 15 minutes-ish? 20? Okay. And I'm gonna pop in and have you read independently. You read a little bit out loud. Look down so I can see.
Before he got halfway to the front, the crowd the organ started something that I rhyme, yelled by Joey, but not include. The critics of secret from wrote from the crowd. Joey dropped in and where he was
Just a little bit. Wherever you are. Which word? Okay, good. I love that. So let's stretch it out. Okay, you're right. There's our first syllable, right? Sitcom. Mo. Of a suffix. What's commotion? Nice job. Find your suffix. It is. If you finish, stop, time out for a second. In the very middle, write bank night. And then I have Frank, Joey. Frank, Joey. You can also stop. You guys might have to share. Awesome job. Okay? Bank night in the middle. You gotta write tiny. Sorry, but not a lot of space. You gotta write there. Oh, bank night. That's the event. We're going to talk about how their experiences were the same and how they were different. Okay, so you finished reading, and let's use your text evidence. So tell me about what happened at Frank during bank night.
she brought a prize at the end of the timer.
Love it. So let's write that in. Just one fact, right? That's what happened. So nice, short and sweet. How can we summarize that into really short to fit in that bubble?
She got a prize.
Good. Short and sweet. Good job. Oh, thank you for writing so tiny. Okay. Chris, do you need a pencil?
No kids shouted adults only.
Want the prize. Good. Won the prize. Awesome job. What happened to Joe? Okay, did anyone else have, what happened after that? After he got the prize? So if we're not sure, let's use your text. Go in there. After he got the prize. Okay, so what happened at the very end? There it is. Good job. Okay, nice job. Nothing really happened to Frank, so instead of writing what happened to him, let's write about his experience. How was he feeling about what happened? Good job. I'm glad you stopped when you don't know a word. Let's look. Do you see any prefixes? Here's your word. What's your prefix? Any suffixes?
Everyone needs to be in their seat.
Okay, so now we just have to figure out reluctantly. Reluctantly means really cautious. You're worried about it happening. There, sit up. All right. Nope, sit up. Frank, read it to me. Frank. Okay, but did they give it to him? Claire, sit up. They did give it to him, right? So Frank's he got the prize. So then what happened in the last couple pages? He got something else. He got something else too at the end of the story. Nope. I want you to go back into your text. This is an important detail. He got more than that. Reread this page. Okay, everyone pause for a moment. Good job filling this out. Okay, Joey was kind of the main part of this, right? Okay. What happened to Joey? Main thing.
Joey got called from the box, and the manager said no kids allowed, only adults.
Good.
And then he got the prize.
Were you worried he wasn't gonna get it at first?
Yeah, but then the crowd was disappointed.
Good. The crowd made sure that he got it. So after he got the prize,
Joey also got a new job.
that wasn't the end of the story, right? Because he a new job.
Oh, I thought
Because he got the prize, Chris, what did the person outside say to him?
you're working at job. Yeah, at 6. Don't be late.
Good job. Be here at 6 and don't be late because he's speedy. Do you remember the job that he got? What is it?
Milton.
Close.
A paper boy.
Yeah, paperboy, right? Awesome job. Good job. So how does that compare to Frank's experience?
He wants his regular job.
Yeah, Frank didn't get a prize. He didn't get a job. But what was the same about their experience anyway?
He got maybe to watch movies.
Yeah, they both get to go to the movie after all, right? So even though they had different experiences, they also had a shared experience.
Back then, I'm pretty sure tickets were like $1.
Right. So if he had $5, he said that's enough to go to the movies and have some to bring home to his family. Okay, $5 was a big deal back then. So even though they had the same experience because they went to the same place, they went to the same place, they had a shared experience, but did they have different experiences also? Yeah.
Joey won.
Joey won, Frank did not. Joey got a job, Frank did not. But what's Frank's point of view about all of that? Is he annoyed and jealous?
No, he's happy.
Good job. So as we finish, I know you might not have gotten to finish this, but this is something you can finish independent time. How do the shared experiences help Frank and Joey adapt to change? That's our essential question, right? So how did their shared experience help them adapt? It's kind of a tough question, right? What is their shared experience?
So,
Going to bank night, right? And now what do they get to do because they went to bank night?
you go to the,
And at the beginning of the story, how were they all feeling? Sad, right?
like kind of depressed.
Depressed. It's a great depression. They were depressed, they were worried, they were anxious. Now their shared experience. How are they feeling now by the end? How has it changed?
Happy.
They're feeling a little bit more hopeful, right? A little more excited. So this shared experience changed their perspective, right? Okay, awesome job. If you didn't finish, you're gonna finish independently. Okay, you can finish your graphic organizer also independently doing your independent work. Okay, you guys can close your books. Take it with you, nice job. Good conversations. You can work on it independently, but that would just be
My foot is dead. My back is hurting.
good girl. Stomp it.
Whoa.